Well, one of my mates just posted in my Discord. It's like that picture of like three kids having a conversation about like which is the best superhero movie, but it's us. It's nice.
What an intro.
Dude, my Coke is coming.
That's interesting.
It's like all over me, dude.
I love it. Oh, welcome to the Zilla Patch podcast, episode 33 with Daddy H and Mummy Meta. I appreciate you guys coming in.
And
Hell of an intro,
Uncle
thank you.
H. Oh, wait, no. I fucking got confused. I'm so used to calling Zilla Daddy, dude.
I know. This is the thing,
What
like,
the fuck?
everybody calls me Daddy and, you know, it just gets really confusing for everyone involved, to be honest.
Fair.
I'm starting to think it was deliberate. You're like, oh, everybody does that for some reason. But it's like, you like it.
No,
don't you?
yeah, you
A little
fucking...
bit.
It gets your socks off, dude.
Look, it depends what context it's in, but, I mean, everybody likes it a little bit, right?
True.
Yes, I
Dude.
guess so.
Too true, too true. Thank you for the raid, by the way, and bringing everyone over to come say
That's all
hi.
good.
Just a quick shout out in the chat. Exodus, fucking love you. Exodus has been following this channel for a very long time. He's a fucking legend. Appreciate you coming in and hanging out, dude. And to everyone who came in with the different communities, welcome in. I love doing this podcast because I get to meet new people and we get to explore like different channels and, you know, expand the community. It gives you guys a chance to expand your communities as well and just fucking, you know, make new friends. That's what it's all about, you know, like that's the reason I do Twitch. And I know, like I didn't have any and then I got a Twitch channel. Now I have heaps. Like it's the way it is, I guess. But I appreciate you guys doing it. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off with a little intro. So a little bio, you know, don't give me your dating profile. I don't really care. But if you want to go ahead and give us a little bit of your streaming history, how you got into it, why you got into it, you know, just and a bit about yourself. So for the people in my community that have no idea who you are, might be like put it this way: at this point in time, my community knows Meta for space dicks, and my community knows H for a bit of canyon spitting. So that's about all we know about you two. So like, because I clip everything out of
All they
context.
need to know, dude.
That's exactly right. That's exactly
I
right.
just love space dicks and yeah.
That's right. Well-
good stream. I'm going now because that's all you guys needed to know.
Speaking of space dicks, Meta, would you like to go first?
Oh yeah. Wait. What were we supposed to say? All right.
You got this. No pressure.
Hi. I'm Meta 4, aka Kib. I come from Sydney, Australia. That's all you need to know, dude. That's all you need to know. No, okay, so originally, if we're gonna talk about streaming career, I've been on Twitch for a fucking long time. Like, I've been on Twitch since 2015. But I've just had different accounts because, like, I like to ghost people. But this account has, I've been streaming on this account for, like, roughly... Okay, this is confusing. I've streamed on this account for a year, technically, but I've taken breaks, like, in and out, pretty much. I normally stream because I'm fucking batshit crazy. I play a lot of Halo Infinite, even though I fucking hate the game.
I've noticed.
Yeah, it's rough on the soul, and right now, it's all I do. I recently lost my job because I'm a fucking idiot and took, like, 10 days off because I couldn't stand it anymore. And yeah.
Yeah. It's not a bad way to lose your job. Like, just don't turn up.
Yeah, exactly.
What are they
No
going to do? Pay
arguments
you?
that way.
Crazy.
Tell me your address. I live in no.
Oh, it's good. Oh, like when you say you've been on Twitch for a long time, you've been streaming that long, or you just been like hanging out on the platform?
Pretty much like hanging out. Like, I used to stream on my old account, like maybe like 3-4 months, and then unfortunate people came into my life, so that's not as interesting as yeah, I don't know. So I lost that account technically, or stopped streaming. And so this is like my redemption account.
Okay.
And yeah, here we are, having fun times.
And so far it's panning out. I mean, look, I've seen you play Halo. You're pretty good at Halo. Like, I suck at Halo, but Like in my defense, I don't really play it much.
Yeah, fair.
But yeah, no, I've been trying to learn by watching you play because I'm like,
Oh, dude, you're watching the wrong person.
I knew you'd say that. That's why I watch.
That's why you're not getting better, dude, because you're watching me.
No, exactly. No, it's good though. But like I've enjoyed your channel since I found it. Since Robert introduced me to you, so it's been a good time. Robert was the last one to be on the podcast actually a couple of weeks ago.
Oh,
so
really?
he yeah, we had a really cool conversation. I learned a lot about him I didn't know as well. So yeah, it's a vibe. H, mate, I know you haven't been streaming long, but
no, I haven't been streaming that long at all. So I think I started streaming about middle of February this year. I'd actually started streaming because like I'd bought a bunch of equipment, like I'd bought a computer to edit videos on and like a bunch of like filming equipment and that sort of thing because I actually wanted to make YouTube videos, like more adventure-y sort of stuff. Because I'm into like fishing and surfing and jiu-jitsu and all these things. But as I did that, I went into a Brazilian jiu-jitsu competition. I broke my foot. And it was like quite a serious injury. It wasn't just like a normal, like break your bone. Like it messed with all the joints in there and I couldn't really walk. And I was like, well, sitting on my ass and I've got all this filming equipment and this Swish computer. What do you do? So I started streaming and it's been, I don't really know what I expected from it, but it's been really, really cool because I get to meet cool people like Meta and cool people like you. And the community's been very welcoming. And honestly, it was like a really down time for me because like with breaking my foot and not being able to do that more like outdoorsy stuff that I would normally do, like I was pretty down, but then it's like you have all these new friends. Like in terms of what I'm streaming over on my channel, it's normally more like action adventure, like RPG sort of stuff. So I've been doing like Assassin's Creed, Odyssey, Witcher. I'm about to start Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I just got this other new game which I'm about to start streaming, which is it's called like Ancestry. It's just like you're like a chimp, like a cave person, and you like evolve through time. I just think that's cool because I like monkeys.
It's mad.
Yeah, pretty cool.
And I gotta ask, like, I know you know everyone has a theme to their stream. Why clowns?
I just kind of it evolved sort of naturally because I mean, like, I've come into this and it's like I've played games all my life, really, but like I'm not good at them. I'm a pretty average gamer, really. I get beat up quite a bit, and it was just I know he's a clown. He's here for your entertainment. He's here to get pied in the face or to lose and fall over and. Clown. That's how it came.
It's such an Aussie thing to do, isn't it? Like just take the piss out of yourself.
Yeah, exactly. I thought I was like, oh, if I do it, no one else will be able to do it. I'll do it first. I was wrong. They're savage. They tear me apart
every time. You poor soul.
Oh, so good.
And just dead inside now. Just tearing me apart.
That's good though.
What happens when you're an entertainer for the masses?
Exactly.
This is the thing, right? and like, especially when it comes to content creation and like creating videos and whatever, you got to be able to take the piss out of yourself. Like if you take yourself way too seriously, people are not going to take you seriously, if that makes sense. So like people are going to watch you and be like this, like they're going to take the piss out of you for being so serious about it. Like that's just the Australian way, isn't it? Like it's always been part of the culture. It's like if someone comes up and tries to tell you a fact when you're making a joke, you laugh at them because you're just like, come on, dude. Like, you know what I mean? Like we're not paying attention to this right now. But the fact that you can take the piss out of yourself and enjoy your content and enjoy making it is the whole reason why people will watch you. I feel like I'm the same when it comes to streaming, man. Like my content is the same. Like I just play games and I concentrate on the chat and that's it. Like, and the games I play are usually really sweaty and I suck. And it's just kind of funny,
dude.
Like,
that's why I play role-playing games because it's just me versus the computer. Yeah, and I still lose. It's like fuck. But it's slightly less obvious. Less obvious.
Well, I only saw you fight that griffin like 7,000 times before you killed it.
I beat it in the end.
You got it.
You did, but it took a long fucking time, dude.
Perseverance, mate. Perseverance. Yeah. Like, you know, this is the key to life.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I played Warzone.
You inspire me.
I played Warzone when I first started streaming for years, and I sucked so bad. But I got better by practicing. Do you know what I mean? But in the end, like I'm never gonna be like fucking swag. Like I'm never going to be that good. So I'm just kind of like, I gave up because it's not because I gave up because I wasn't competitive. I just didn't enjoy it because when you get to a certain level in that game, it puts you in like the highest, you know, matchmaking category. Basically, it's the same with Halo, right? With when you push into Onyx, it's like I'm versing the same people over and over and over again. It's like it was the same with me. Like I literally bump into every TTVer that has a computer. Like I'm just like, this is not very fun anymore. Like just getting shit on every game. Or just like, you know what I mean? So just like,
well, I'm about to load up Warzone now. Would you like to play, dude?
No.
Let's go. Come on. We're going to have a god tier TTV squad. Me, you, AchKaiy. Let's go.
Dude, I don't even have it downloaded on my computer anymore.
You have god tier internet. We all know that. It's going to be done in like after this podcast.
I'll think about it. You'll have to convince me better than that by giving a good interview here. So
okay, fair. All right, I'm gonna put my heart out into this interview.
Yeah, 100%. What else are you guys into? Like, what else do you do besides game? What's your go-to stuff you like to do? Hobbies.
Imagine having a hobby that isn't video games. To be honest, what do I like to do? I don't even fucking know, dude. Like, I'm a huge tech nerd. Like, I feel like my whole life revolves around like technology and shit, even though I'm like crap at it. Like, I don't have like hobbies. Like, I should learn how to garden or something, like something that's actually useful. Like, I don't know. What do normal people do with their lives? Like,
touch grass. I don't know.
True. Well, that's gardening, right?
That is.
That's long periods of touching grass. Yeah, tech hobbies are good though. That's important. Yeah. Like when I have tech issues, then I come to you and you'll be able to solve them.
Yeah, no, I got you, my guy. It's probably because I'm Asian, dude. That's why. Oh, just like fucking tech stuff, just come to me. I got you, buddy. I got you.
So at our house, we put it in rice. What do you do?
Well, we'll eat the rice afterwards. Like, what the fuck, dude? We're not wasting good rice.
It's imbued with the power of the technology.
Yeah. Exactly.
Makes it sweeter. Exactly. Gain the knowledge.
Just that bit of extra radioactive rice. Like, that's the best kind of rice.
Yeah, it's like it brings like a whole new level to flavors. It's like, this flavor is iPhone.
Oh, yeah. My favorite flavor, dude.
100%. What do you do in your spare time, H? What's the go?
I mean, I've got quite a few hobbies, but it's sort of probably the same story as my gaming. Like, I get really interested in things, I think, for short bursts. I mean, the only thing that I've probably done consistently over the years is Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Like I was training that sort of like weeknights for like the last few years. I took a long break while I was at uni because I didn't really have the money to be able to do it. It's quite expensive up in the city. Like, I live in a rural area. So I did that for a long time. I had a couple of MMA fights when I was younger that I didn't do particularly well in those either. What else? Do a bit of fishing. Don't catch much. Do a bit of surfing. Don't catch many waves. You know, a bit of rock climbing. Trades, really? I fall. You know. Lots of.
A lot more interesting than my life, honestly.
Sounds like
if you tried some of those things. If you tried some of those things, though, you'd because you can stick to something and be good at it. You stick at Halo and you're good at it. You'd pick one of those things, and in like a couple of years, you'd be at a level that I couldn't dream of, though. And I think that people find that more valuable.
Surfing right now. I'll see you guys out there.
Hell yeah.
It's true though. Some people are like that. Like, you know, like I feel like myself, I'm a bit like that sometimes too. Like, I'll just like, this is why I play games in like blocks. Like, I'll play one game for 3 months straight and then just stop playing it. Do you know what I mean? Because I just want to completely engross myself in that game for that amount of time. Instead of switching between games and losing track of what I'm doing, I'll just smash it out for 3 months. And then at the end of that 3 months, I'm like, okay, I'm putting this away for 6 months. And then that's it. Do you know what I mean? It's the same thing with hobbies or whatever it might be. Like, whatever it is in my life, I'm just kind of like, I need to do this 100% of the time or 0% of the time. Just like, Basically, the reason why I don't drink anymore because it's like I can't do it. I don't have a moderation skill. Like it's just like you have to just know if you know yourself well enough, you know your limitations when it comes to things, and you know what you expect as well. So like, it's like H is like, oh, I like rock climbing. I fall off sometimes, but I love it. That's the best thing to have is moderation, right? Like you can moderate everything. Like you're like, I'm happy being not the best at this, but I still enjoy it. Like that's not a bad thing to be like, you know, as opposed to me, I'm just like, I need to climb this fucking tree and I'm going to do it 100,000 times until I get to the top. And then I'm never going to climb it again. Like, you know what I mean?
I like to suffer.
Yeah.
That's all I do. That's why I play Halo as much as I do. It's just because I like to fucking suffer.
Sucker for punishment.
So you're not drinking at all anymore, man?
No, I've gone sober.
Completely sober. When did that start?
Nearly 100 days now.
100 days. Go, wow. Dude. God damn.
Yeah. No, I spent a lot of times like just drinking a lot. Like I've been drinking since I was literally 18 years old, like nearly every second day. So, and it got to the point where it got to the point where I was just like, I can't drink anymore because I'll probably die. So I gave it up altogether because like I said, this is why I don't do any drugs. It's the same reason why I don't gamble. Like it's the same reason why I don't drink too much or drink anymore, because I just can't moderate. Like I don't have a moderation brain cell, and I just all or nothing. So, and I know that. You know what I mean? I'm smart enough to know that. That's the thing. So a lot of people who with addiction, they can't admit they're addicted to something. They're like, no, I'm not. Do you know what I mean? Like I can handle it. I'm fine. And it's like, I'm not. I was just like, no, I'm not fine. I just need to give it up. So I just gave it up, and I don't miss it. I really don't. It was tough, but it was something I had to do.
I think with alcohol, it took me a long time to be able to do anything in moderation in that regard. Really, like it can it's sort of hard as well, because you go, oh well, you know, I'll just have one, but every one you have lowers your inhibition, and then the next one's sort of easy, and then it's a
spiral.
Yeah, but I sort of find as well, like I've had periods of complete abstinence from everything before, probably for a couple of years, but I found I'm probably, and maybe it's just because I'm at a different point in my life now where like, you know, like I have like stable partner, I'm getting married and that sort of thing, that like that gives me a lot of stability. But I used to find that if I had long periods of sobriety, that would cause me to binge. Like I'd even if I went for like years, then I'd have these points where I'd just go like mental for 3 months. And now it's like better that it's like, you know, just once in a while, just have one. But that's just my.
No, I totally get that. It's a culture thing too. You know, like
Australian drinking culture.
We've all grown up in that culture of like, if you don't have a beer in your hand, you're a pussy, or like,
exactly.
Just, you know, and that's not, it's not helpful. Like, you know, I've been to other countries, they don't think like that. Like, even in America, man, like, you know, they don't, more than half people don't drink. Like, and you'll see people at bars not drinking. Like they're just there to watch the football and have a pizza or something. Like they don't have to drink. Whereas like if an Australian is in a bar, he needs to drink the whole fucking bar. Like it's a culture thing, and we are literally the first look at your teenage life, right? What is there to do in Australia as a 16, 17-year-old?
Yeah, sink piss
and play video games. That's it. Yeah. That's it. Because all the like either that or you play a contact sport. Like it's just nothing.
It's brain damage or staying inside.
Or being an introverted fucking loser. You know what I mean? Like
introverted loser. Hey, you shut your mouth.
No, we're all that. Like this is the thing. This is Twitch is the reason we have friends. I love it. Like I have no problem admitting that. But at the same time, it's just like, yes, alcoholism, even though it is accepted in society, in like Australia, it's not healthy and it's not good for you. Like it's not a good thing. It's horrible. Like every single weekend, it's like, let's get on the piss, or, you know, whatever it might be. It's like, I find it hard now because like my whole lifestyle revolved around the pub. You know what I mean? I don't go there anymore because there's no, like, I don't feel the need to. My love for football has dropped off as well because I don't go to watch it. Like, because I used to go watch, like, I'm a big NRL fan, like big Panthers fan. The game was on tonight and I streamed
imagine
instead.
liking the Panthers, SMH.
I know. I know.
Yeah.
But,
I'm gonna leave the podcast now because that's gross.
All right, guys, that's the end. We're going to wrap it up there. We found our difference. No.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like
Yeah.
things like that you've done every single weekend is like, it was like a habit. Like I would go to the pub on a Saturday afternoon. I'd, start with 10 fucking beers and watch the football and, maybe you chuck a 50 in the pokies and then you go and try your luck in the nightclub and then you go home. Like that's just life in Australia.
I ran into you too late.
Yeah.
You sound like you you knew how to have a good time.
I definitely
fucking
did.
Pineapple in the pokies. Fucking.
That's such a boomer thing, though. Like,
couple of bags.
Really?
No. Yeah. Oh yeah, you go. You're gonna say it in that voice too, because you know it's the guy that's coming in and he's gonna ask you that. Hey mate, can I snag a ciggy? Like, do you know what I mean?
I don't know if the pokies are well, maybe they are a slightly boomer thing, Meta, but I think as gamers we've got our analog, don't we? Because you both play a little bit of Apex, don't you?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like when the thing comes out and it like spins around and you get like the new it's the same thing.
It is
so many games,
serotonin boost.
Yeah, fuck yeah. I've been playing Magic the Gathering Arena, and that's like when you open the packets, it's like that. It's like all lights and stuff, and it's just like makes you do each one individually. So it's like a little bit of, you can have a little serotonin just as a treat.
Exactly.
And you're like, oh fuck.
This is why.
But when you lose, it's the worst though. Like when you get like those like blue Apex packs, like your heart just like drops every fucking time.
You're like, please be it now. Give me that heirloom, please. That's all I want.
On my last leg, they're gonna take my thumbs. Can't do this to me, please.
It's true though. You're always hunting for that serotonin boost, right? That's like the whole video game thing too. Like it's like a mentality thing. It's like if you win a game, the serotonin's like, yeah, motherfucker, I'm the best. But you lose and you're just like, I hate this fucking game. Like
I feel like game companies have started to exploit that a lot as well. Like I feel like they used to set out and be like, let's just make like a fun game that's enjoyable to play, and now so many games have those mechanics where it's like, like it has
money out of you.
Well, not even how do we make the most money, but it's like how do we make this not fun but addictive, because they're two separate things. I feel like
I agree.
Like things can be addictive without being, well, pokies can be addictive without being fun.
Well, the thing with the pokies, right, is that it's addictive in a way that is basically attracting to your brain, right? Because you have the sights of excitement and then you have the noises. All of this is integrated. It's like an advertising campaign sort of thing. Like, when an advert is on the television, it's visually appealing. It's audibly appealing. It sells you something in a way that they are trying to entice you to buy it. It's the same thing with a Poke machine, but you've already purchased it. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, how do we give you this reward even though you've already committed to it? So we're gonna string you along a little bit, make every little dollar that you win like the biggest jackpot you've ever seen, even though it's not, but it kind of makes you think it is with all the lights and sounds and noises and all that kind of stuff. And then you just put more money in because you're like, I'm chasing that forever sound, like that sound of that $100,000 fucking jackpot I'll never see. They put it up there and it's like, you're never going to get it. Like you hear the one person that getting it and it's like, so there's a chance. Like that's gambler's mentality. You know what I mean? But it sucks you in. It's genius, really.
Well, I wonder if it's like I at least feel the same thing a little bit when I play, and this isn't like a built-in mechanic, this is just the way my brain works, but when I play first-person shooters, I always feel like, oh, I'll play another game, because it's like to get that win and feel that like,
that's right. That's it. It's the same thing.
That's why I play Halo, dude. I'm like addicted to the win.
This is why they have a rank mode. This is the whole reason.
So what we're saying is you need to start drinking instead, Meta. And that'll
that's true. I'm about to go
and start playing the fucking Pokies, mate.
6 months
maybe
time,
I'll actually
find her in a gutter somewhere.
6 months time, so I'll actually washed.
That's wild. No,
She used to be so promising in the Twitch streaming career. You just flashback to me in like playing Halo.
Yeah. You make a grouse bogan though.
Yeah.
I'd love to see you in front of the fucking pokies. Just feeding the fucking pineapple.
Dude, I watch my mum play and I'm just there like, why do you consider this like fun? And I guess you could say the same thing about like me playing Halos. Like, why do I consider this fun and stuff? Like, I don't know. It's just the pokies are so fucking boring.
I could imagine you streaming it though.
Oh,
I could
yeah, me
see you.
streaming the
I could see
pokies.
you like putting the 50 in and slapping it, and like nothing coming up, and then being like, "Imagine getting a jackpot. Hello, hello. Imagine getting a jackpot."
I found a way to fulfill that addiction.
yeah,
I found a way to fulfill that addiction without spending any money. I just watch
Okay.
people do it on Twitch. I watch people play slots.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's actually
Yeah.
like people spending
Are they actually
thousands and
allowed
like,
to?
yeah, they're all sponsored
Yeah, it's
and they
really,
can do it.
it's
Oh,
really
really?
popular. It's
Millions and
massively
millions of
popular.
dollars going through these things
Damn.
every single day, and I sit there and watch it.
I
It's
reckon
wild.
though, or at least I've heard. I hear lots of things. It's probably a lot of bullshit, but that it's like the companies that do those pokey things, they look out for people that stream it, and they like improve their odds for like people that are streaming, so they win more. So when other people are watching,
Yeah,
they're like, "Oh, this fucking pokey service is sick," and then they go and play it, lose all their fucking money. It's pretty
it's a
fucked
business and it's a scam.
Dude, I'm about to
Yeah.
stream that.
You know what I
Oh,
mean?
yeah.
Business event.
Fair point.
It's
Yes,
a business
as
and a
streamers,
scam.
that's it.
That's what it is. And like this is the thing. I think a lot of the money that they use isn't theirs either. I think a lot of the money
Yeah,
they use
true.
is given as probably given to them in sponsorship or whatever. Like
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah.
if you're advertising for a company that is going to make millions of dollars off other poor fuckers, like as if you wouldn't give them a few extra million. You're like, here, take this. You know,
Yeah.
do what you will, enjoy. You know what I mean? But
just-
in saying that, if you're smart enough, you know, and you watch it and it fulfills your addiction, then you don't have to spend any money. It's
Yeah, fair point.
it's like a placebo effect, isn't it? It's like, oh, I'm winning, but I'm not actually spending any money. I'm just watching him win. And if he loses, I feel it. I'm like, God damn, man.
I'd feel like a serotonin cuckold or something.
Yeah.
Oh,
When
that's
someone's
like the
doing
same.
covered and like someone else is doing it, and I'd just be like,
when someone's smashing through $1,500 a bet, right?
oh,
And they're
fuck.
winning like sometimes they'll hit like $1 million spin.
Holy fuck.
You just sit there and go, what the fuck is this world we live in? Like, it's just like $1,500 is like what, a week's worth of fucking work. Like you're just like, okay. And he's doing it every second. Like, it's just,
insane. Yeah.
it actually makes you think like, if people have that much excessive amount of capital, it's like, where is it?
Yeah, like it's insane. Like,
It's wild.
I live in a very like I live in a very Asian predominant like neighborhood, and every time I go to the pub, like I see these like this is not me being racist by the way, because I am Asian, I can say this. Like every Asian I see, they easily bet like $500 in the pokey every fucking spin, and they get like major fucking money. And I'm just there like, where do you get this money, dude? Like it's insane. Like watching all these people like gamble money I wouldn't dream of doing. I don't know, maybe I'm just a fucking pussy, but I would never bet anything over like, I don't know, like $1. And even $1 seems like too much for me, to be honest.
The thing with pokies is if you play it like you play them for long enough, you will lose. They only return like if you play them consistently, you will lose money because they only return 83% of what's put into them annually. It's just like I don't know. People have this idea of like hot machines, or whatever. The hot tip I've gotten for the when you hit the pokies, they've got those little slits in them, so you can see how much has gone into them and how much they've paid out. And you look around and you try and find the ones with the biggest discrepancy because they're due to pay. That's yeah.
But this is the thing, though, right?
would
They're
have to.
actually the way they're built, right? Is that they're built for every single spin is a game, right? Not every like people think of it the wrong way. So like you're thinking if I spin 50 times to 100 times, my odds of getting a feature are this much, right? It's actually not the case. Your odds reset every time the game ends, which is every spin.
Yeah,
So,
so
like-
that's the gambler's fallacy, isn't it? That the odds
Yeah.
don't actually change.
No, the more you gamble on it, it doesn't make a difference. It's every spin that you're betting on. Not every, you know, just because you're playing the game doesn't mean it's one game, if that makes sense. So like you're actually playing it and every spin is a game. So you played like 100 games and each game had the same odds as the last game. It doesn't make a difference. It's just random. So and people are like, oh, I put $1,000 through this one, it didn't pay. It's like, well, that's it's gambling. Like, you know, like it doesn't mean that if you come back and put another $1,000, you're more likely to get a feature. It just means that you really have an addiction problem.
Yeah.
Like,
this is making me want to play the pokies.
Yeah, same, to be honest.
After this, we're all going to get off this and get the fuck out of here.
Call you guys, like, I'll meet you at the pub, like, you know.
Yeah. Well, technically, me and Rugged could technically do it because we're in the same city.
You guys live pretty close, don't you?
Yeah.
You were talking about
it is
rugby before,
possible.
and I was like, what? Because I'm just down here in Victoria. I don't have an allegiance yet. I don't have a team. Who should I barrack for?
Oh, don't ask
Not
me.
the
Pitch me your
Panthers.
teams, not the Panthers. And then I'm guessing you're saying the Panthers.
Yeah, well, my team's top of the table, so, you know.
That would be
They
the cop-out
suck.
move. Just go with whoever's winning. The
Just
Panthers.
jump on the bandwagon, you know.
All the bunnies is better though. Like we're god tier.
That's who fucking Ned goes for as well. I think Ned would probably
Yeah. And
find
also,
me and slash my
Dutch.
Achilles.
He would, eh?
Like,
He definitely
He's
would.
intense.
Yeah,
He
me
loves
and
his
me and
bunnies.
Ned have had plenty of football talk in the channel. Ned's been following me for quite a long time, and like me and him, every now and again, we just start talking footy, and it just goes forever. Like, it just never stops.
It's so funny you guys call rugby footy.
Yeah,
Wait, what
rugby
the-
league is footy.
Is AFL? Do you have an AFL team? Like, do you follow it at all?
Yeah, I've been a few games. We have two teams in Sydney with like GWS and the Swans, and I mean, I've been to a few Swans games in my time. But I'm not like I like look. I understand the rules. I've been with mates to go to the games and stuff, but I couldn't give two shits about it, to be honest.
yeah.
It's just not the game that I grew up watching. Like,
That's so funny. Yeah,
yeah, well, it's
so
just
close,
different.
but so far.
Yeah,
That's the only
well,
cultural difference between our two states. I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
it's like a whole nother world. You like rugby, and we're like slightly different ball. game.
Yeah,
that's the
isn't
difference.
it makes me laugh too though, because like the Melbourne rugby league team, like no one watches them in Melbourne, but when they come up here, everybody goes to watch. It just makes me laugh like that.
And they're
it's-
not bad either. Like
They're
that's
really
the thing.
good. But you know what? Their entire team is made up of people from Brisbane. So it's just like, like it's all just Queenslanders, because like Queensland had less teams and too many players, because obviously up there rugby league is God country kind of thing, and none of the Sydney teams wanted any Queenslanders because we're New South Welshmen, we don't like Queenslanders, so they all just ship them down to Melbourne, and all of a sudden Melbourne makes a team that's wins like 7 premierships. It's like, well, that's what happens when like no one has anywhere to go. They just like, well, let's form a team in another state that isn't New South Wales. You know, they tried it with Perth, but no one wanted to go there to fucking play. It's too far. So it
Does
literally
Perth
lasted
even
like,
have an AFL team? Like, sure. they must have
yeah,
one.
yeah, the West Coast Eagles.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, more you know.
How do I know that and you don't?
'Cause I don't watch AFL. Like, I only watch esports because I'm lame like that.
That's true. That's true. Apparently, Beer says they have 2. Oh, Freo as well.
Fremantle, yeah.
There you go.
I always
There
thought
you go.
Fremantle was like in Melbourne. I guess I don't know shit about this country.
I have no idea. I've gone to Melbourne actually a lot. I do like Melbourne. It's one of those places that if I do get a chance, like, or a free weekend, I'll go down and hang out there with a couple of friends, or, you know, they've got some really good restaurants that I go to there, and, you know, the culture in Melbourne. This is what I always say to myself, as well as like, you know, my mum and dad and stuff. We always go, Sydney's like the business capital of Australia, and Melbourne's like the cultural capital of Australia, if that makes sense. So like,
Yeah.
like if you come to Sydney, the nightlife doesn't exist. Like, you know, during the day, it's just tourists walking around everywhere and fucking seagulls. And like, there is literally nothing. Like the sights of the city are great, but there's nothing going on, and everyone's working. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas like you go down to Melbourne, everyone's in cafes, you know, there's artistry on the
being
street,
bludgeoned,
everything's
dude.
painted in different colors, and like there's restaurants on every corner, and it's just like, it's really like more like a cultural mecca. Whereas Sydney is just like, let's go and fucking, you know, make some money for this big company today. That's it. And
I
then
never really thought of it that way. That's a nice way to
Yeah.
conceptualize it. I just like remember Sydney because I haven't been since I was young. I was just like, it's grey and it's cold and it's just like Melbourne except somewhere else. And now I have like all these fond memories of like living in Melbourne, being older, and yeah, being able to experience all that like, you know, fun cultural stuff and go to like, you know, Brunswick Street and that sort of thing. And I just assumed Sydney would be the same, but now I know I don't want to go back. So thank you for confirming that.
That's why I always go to Melbourne. I
I'd
would
go
live
up
in
there.
Melbourne
Straight out.
because
Boring, dude.
look, Sydney and Melbourne are just as expensive as each other at this point. Like,
Yeah.
there's no point in moving
Oh,
anywhere.
I'd never fucking live there. Way too expensive.
Yeah,
I
dude,
still live in my
crazy.
hometown. I live in the I like went up to the city to study, and then I just came straight back because I was like, oh fuck, it's expensive.
Yeah.
I
Do you want to spend $1.5 million on a house? No, I fucking don't.
I
Yeah,
do.
on a good day, like Sydney house prices are fucked. Like the median house price in Sydney is 1.1 million.
Holy shit.
Like
Wow.
we're never going to own a house in our entire lives. It's just not going to be a thing.
No.
Oh,
You know?
so many. I feel like so many like people our age say that though. And like I've got like when I went up to study, I made like mates in Melbourne that like grew up in the suburbs and stuff. And like obviously their parents have bought houses
Early.
20, 30, 40 years ago when, you know, it wasn't so fucking expensive. But I'm like, now, you know, the population's grown. And as a young person, like you can own a house, but you've got to move out to the country and try and find jobs and stuff out here, which, yeah, is hard. But I mean, like, I don't know. Why do you need to be in the city anyway? People say there's more opportunity.
Better
but-
internet, dude. That's
Fuck.
all. It's the
My
only
internet, it's pretty good.
Look,
I'm coming through in good quality right now, right?
Oh, it's
Good
good
enough.
Sydney's forever expanding as a city though. Like the center of Sydney now is basically Parramatta. Like it's just it just keeps pushing west because like they're even moving Parliament to Parramatta. Like they're in the process of doing that because like it's too hard to get into the city because it's too busy. So they're moving everything out west because like everybody's moving out west because it's cheaper. But the more people that move there, the more the house prices go up. So it's like if you were to today, I said like go and buy a house like where I live, dude, there's no fucking chance I'd ever be able to afford it or anyone even remotely be able to afford it because everything here is either owned by people who have lived here for like 40 years or it's renters. That's it. There's nothing else here. And it's just all outlandishly ridiculous in price. And the further you go west, the cheaper it gets. But nowadays people are moving up to the Central Coast. Like they're going even further. Like some people are catching the train from Newcastle to Sydney for work every day because it's just like cheaper to live up there. Like it's wild. You know, that's an hour and a half way on a train. Like that's crazy. Imagine having to do that every fucking day.
Couldn't be me. I couldn't even go to my job that's literally 5 minutes away. So imagine like 1 hour, dude. Like fuck no.
And then there's here for the beers, Maddie, who lives in Adelaide, which is the place where you go to retire and die. So
True. What is in
heard-
Adelaide anyway?
it's called the City of Churches for a reason.
Oh.
I've heard that if you are looking for a missus, that Adelaide is a good place to go because it's one of the few places in the country where the like difference in genders is actually like significantly skewed, where it's like the city is like 3 or 4% more women or something like that. So
Like
you're
those
actually
odds?
much more likely to, yeah. There you go. There's the hot tip.
All right, when are we going
I'm
to
gonna go look
when
for
are we
a
going to
wife.
Adelaide?
Yeah, go find a fucking wife. That's
Let's
right.
go, Rugged, let's go.
Business
Find a
trip.
Yeah, business.
there for the business.
No, I'm there for the pleasure, dude.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but we can claim the expenses as a business trip, and they just ask, "What was the
True.
purpose?" And you're just like, "I was hunting," you know.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
trying to snag me a fish.
Oh, that's fucked, dude.
oh god.
It was only a matter of time before it started going downhill, you know,
Yeah.
like, especially
Yeah, it was
I'm
gonna-
surprised it took like 30 minutes for it to like, do that. So good work, guys.
If I keep my clothes on by the end of this stream, I'll be happy.
That's
If I'm
true.
clothed at the end, this is a victory.
My pants are already off, dude.
Speaking of pants off, sometimes I come into your guys' streams, right? And I always catch something sussy out of context.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like, my streams are the same sometimes. I'll start talking about something. Someone will come in and be like, I heard you just start talking about balls. And I'm like, look, it wasn't what I started talking about, but that's where we ended up. Now, it's just the way it is because we're all a little bit fucking immature at times and it's funny. And
Yeah,
also,
fair.
some of the greatest content comes from the sussest things, right? Like, you know,
True.
like I was playing a couple of clips of both of your guys' clips to my community, like for a bit, and I was just like, it's all just about like sexual stuff or just like anything that is just like makes you fucking laugh. Like it's funny, right? And I love it.
I'm getting
But
caught out.
have you got any like real sus stories of like either gaming or on Twitch or just in general that sort of like you could relate to any of those clips that we've seen?
Oh shit. My life is just full on sus, dude. Now I can't think of any story because there's just so many just flooding my brain.
I don't know.
H, go first.
I don't know. I think like when I put on the clown makeup, it really does something to me. It just turns me into a bit of a naughty boy. Because I just know
Okay.
that like that last clown stream that I had, people were like, it just does something to me. Like people donate bits, and I just know that means to shake it, to just get up and dance
Oh
for
yeah,
them,
dude.
show them my bare feet. You know, just gets weird.
Yeah.
But it's something about having, it's not really an alter ego though. It's not an alter ego. It's who I am inside just coming out. I think that's really what gets it for me. But I don't know. I think it says more about, I blame the chat because you're saying, oh, these are the moments that we're seeing. Those are the moments they're clipping. That's what they find funny.
Exactly.
That is
know,
so true.
It's hours and hours clean content. We have high grade intellectual discussions in my chat. Sometimes nobody's clipping that
Same.
shit.
Exactly,
Nobody's
dude.
fucking clipping it. You say, dick and balls, so you get me like doing a bit of a gagging action, and everybody's like, "Holy fuck, clip that! That's hilarious." So
Yeah.
that's what they get more of. It's a positive feedback loop.
Mate, honestly, some of the things that have been clipped in this channel over the years, it's not safe for work, bro. It's just not. Like every time I come in here, I look in my clip section because I have to go through them, because I've had a few incidents with Twitch support stuff, and I have to like make sure that my shit is like a little bit less fucked up. So I'm like, okay, I'll go through and check the stuff and check bits and pieces, and I'm just like, okay, this is probably not good. So I'm just gonna download this one and delete it. Like,
I wanna know now. You've got me curious because I have some occasionally filthy stuff on my channel. I wonder what is
You are
bad
a
enough.
fucking whore, dude.
well,
What do you mean?
I wonder what's bad enough. That
generally
they get
speaking,
involved.
because in like I've read the TOS like multiple times, like from start to finish, because I needed to for a few bits and pieces. Because I was like, I wonder if they're allowed to do this, so I just read it again. And but generally speaking, it's to the interpretation of whoever's watching as well. So like you need to make sure that you basically, if you say anything, you make sure you're not marginalizing or offending anyone. That's basically the moral of the story when it comes to TOS. Now, you got that look on your face, like, you're like, oh, well, it could offend someone. However,
Yeah.
if it's not directly like,
Ooh,
so like,
fuck,
say if you're not basically just pointing at someone and saying you're a cunt, and like they take offense to it, that matters as well, then it's okay, right? However, Australian culture can get mixed up because obviously TOS is based on American values, right? And American values and Australian values are very, very different. And I don't understand why they don't make a global TOS, whereas like each country has their own guidelines, which would make more sense, but they don't because,
It requires effort, dude.
because different cultures have different stigmas, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like some cultures make fun of each other, some cultures make fun of other cultures. It's just the way they are. And sometimes, when we are very liberal with certain swear words, like we say a lot of different bits and pieces, which, I can repeat for the sake of it, doesn't really matter. But saying the swear words and directing the swear words at someone is different. But then we do that in Australian culture. Like, I literally go over to you and be like, you're a fucking cunt. And you'd be like, yeah, what's up, mate?
Hey, whoa, hey.
You know what I mean?
That made me
I'm
record.
actually offended.
You know what I mean, though, right? You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, what's going on, cunt? And you're just like, yeah, mate, how you going? Like, it's Australian culture, but Americans don't understand it, so the TOS makes no sense to us.
We spend a bit of time in my chat educating the Americans. I feel like because we get those those night owl Americans. It's 4 a.m. for them coming in, and there's lots of C's and F's being thrown around, and they're just like, what's going on here? And then we just We give them the pass. We go, you're allowed to say the C word now. You can say as much as you want.
You know,
You're
typically,
Australian.
as soon as we start like dropping F's and C's, my mum comes into the chat to say hello.
Yeah, classic.
Classic stitch
Mum
up.
comes into chat.
Classic
that's
stitch up.
cute, dude.
Yeah, Mum Zilla.
cute.
She's in the chat at the moment.
Is she in
That's my actual mom. She watches my streams all the time.
Momzilla? Come here. I want to say hello.
That's
to
so
Mum.
cute.
Gigi. Hi, Momzilla. Oh, that awkward moment. I called you daddy on stream.
She wasn't there for that, but now she knows.
Oh shit. Okay, we'll keep it between us.
Also, I wanted a little cheeky shout out to the Hardcore Italian, who is one of our American friends, who is just as filthy as all of us Australians. I've seen his stream before. He has no filter at all, but he's a good bloke. He's a good bloke indeed. Plays a bit of Warzone. Yeah, Mum, hope you're well. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for hanging out. Everybody in the chat, please say hello to Mum Zilla.
Hi, Momzilla.
She enjoys this stream. She's always been here, so every now and I never know when she's listening either. She never says anything neither. She'll just sit there and watch, and then all of a sudden she'll just chime in and be like, "Oi," like, don't say that.
That's good. You probably need that reminder once in a while. Keeps you in line.
Yeah, she's just pulling our heads in.
At least
Basically
your mum
the
supports you. My mum thinks I'm like running a sex cult or something.
And she'd be right.
Yeah, true. Like, everyone loves Space Pickle.
the Space Pickle.
It's like there's no way people literally give you money like to watch you play games. Like you're showing your bits or something. And I'm just there like, no, definitely not. Only Space Pickle only.
Exactly.
So you're telling me you've never gotten the ankles out on stream?
I'm not that much of a whore.
I feel bad then. I put out full feet for like 10 bits for anything. The feet are
10 bits.
They're out right now, just in case somebody even suggests that they might.
Mate, I got shoes on.
I'll give you 10 bits right now to show
No, my shoes
you gotta
are
pay for that. You gotta pay for that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm always getting thrown against the wall. True. True. That's why people watch my streams, because that's what they like.
Oh, that's exactly right. All right, well, let's get less sus for a second.
Fair.
Basically, all right, let's picture your gaming career, okay? You know, every game that you've ever played. Yep, he's closing his eyes, ready? Close your eyes, guys, close your eyes. Picture it for me. Every game you've ever played, just flash them through your head like a little notebook, all right? And then press stop. What's the game that you always want to go back to and always play? What's the one? What's the one that you'll always go back to because you just loved it that much and you can't say enough good things about it?
Sims 2.
Sims 2?
Yeah, good game. I would say, a good part of my childhood playing Sims 2. Like, gross amounts. Me and Dutch, like, we used to always sleep over, and that was our game. Sims 2, Sims 3.
Yeah.
And I low-key... Thing is, I would love to stream it, but I feel like my audience is not gonna enjoy Sims content. Because I am pretty much known to play, like, Halo and FPS games. And there's parts of me that would... I don't know. I do have Sims 2, but I don't think anyone... It's sad.
I think you should do it. Just like even... Because, I mean... You're streaming even more nights now than you were previously. Some of those extra nights do Sims.
Maybe do it on an off day. So like if you're streaming every day,
Yeah.
maybe do like Tuesday's sim night.
That'd be cool, man.
Actually, yeah, that's
Mix
a good
it up a
idea.
bit. Because you know what? The more categories you play in, the more people you attract. Because the variety is the spice of life. You know what I mean?
And you like Halo and Sims, and there's probably other people out there that like Halo and Sims. Like
Yeah,
I think I've got like a pretty eclectic taste.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to like games, I'm like, there must be lots of people like that are just like not really setting in anything and like everything. There's probably a lot of people in the chat right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Look at them all. For me, I reckon it's Wind Waker, Legend of Zelda, Wind Waker. I just have very like fond memories of like playing that as a kid. It's funny we both went for like childhood things, nothing that we play now. Just like I remember being young and happy. Innocent.
Halo Infinite does not make me happy.
Yeah. I don't know, there's just something. Maybe it was probably like the first game I saw in that art style as well, but just like everything about it, like the story, the being out in the ocean on the water, and the music as well. I still listen to the soundtrack sometimes, just like cruising along. Yeah.
Love that. Love that. Skyrim for me.
Skyrim. I actually never
Skyrim, that's a
played
big one.
Skyrim. Like, I'm gonna get
I've-
murdered, but I never played Skyrim. Like, as much versions came out, I haven't played a single one. I would like to.
Yeah.
It's
I
just
think
like I feel like it's like one of those games where you have to put so much time into.
Oh, I can't even tell you how much hours I put
Suck,
into
it'll suck you in, but I mean, like, if you just did the main story in Skyrim, it's like it's not actually that long. It was funny. I probably played it, you know, like 5 different characters or something before I ever even beat the main story. I just go and do all the side shit and play it for so long, and then until I fell out of it, and I never actually finished it until I bought like one of the extra special editions like years after they'd fucking released it. It's just one of those games you get absolutely lost in. And I finally did the main story, and I was just like, oh, is that it?
Yeah,
That's all it was.
I am a achievement whore when it comes to Skyrim. I love it. I love every aspect of the game. I love completing every side quest. I love collecting every item. You know, I just couldn't get enough of it. I just loved it. And when I played it first of all when it came out on Xbox like 12 years ago or whatever it was, and I played it from start to finish. I played all the expansion packs like sequentially as they came out. Like I bought the season pass, like I was just, and I completed every single achievement, and I think I hit like level 80 something or whatever it was. And it was just like to the point where I could literally like hit someone with a sword and they die instantly. It didn't even matter what it was. Like I was so overpowered that I could literally just poke someone with a fist and they die. Like it was just, it was great. And it was a great game. Then they brought out the Game of the Year edition, like 5 years later, 6 years later, whatever it was. And I played it again. I played it from start to finish again. And then when I got my PC, guess what? I played it again. And I played on start to finish again. I played on stream too. Like I love it, man. It's just one of those games I can go back to and I remember every single thing. Like, because I played it for so many hours, I remember where everything is. I can draw you the fucking map on a piece of paper from my memory. Damn. Like, it's just that I've played it that much.
Estimate hours. I wanna hear an hour estimate.
Well, every playthrough took me like, if I was doing just the story plus side quests without like additional achievement hunting, it was probably like 200 hours or so.
Yeah, right.
So then, and then if you go through an achievement hunt, and sometimes you get lost crafting, because I used to do like crafting loops where I would like travel from one city to another city and buy, then just sell and like create and buy. And I could get smithing to 100 in like a day. Like I would just smash it out. And so I'd be trying to do all that. I think probably it'd be close to 1,000 hours for sure. It's just one of those games. Like Warzone's the same as that though. Like I played Warzone for a total of 51 days, I think.
Oh damn.
Like, and that's like hours included in the day. So it's not like it's, you know, we're counting the hours included in that. And that's not even I'm not even in the top 50 on my friends list. That's how many people I play with on Warzone that are better than me. Like, it's just like, it's wild. Like,
I sort of hate it. I don't hate it, but sometimes I'll like look in my game library, and when it measures games in days, because then it's really clear to me how much of my life I used on this thing, and I'm like, oh fuck, like because I think
now I'm curious with Halo Infinite.
You ever see those things where it's like, oh, you've got you know, 10,000. I can't remember exactly the amount. It's like $11,600 in the bank, but you have to spend it every day. And that's like how many seconds are in the day or some shit like that.
Yeah.
It's like you have to spend it. And then you see those ones where it's like how many days are in your life. And then I see that I spent like, you know, 10 days playing a game or something. And I'm like, oh, fuck, I'm going to die. It's creeping up on me.
I'm just going to go back through the chat real quick. Ned's answer was Fortnite. Nice. Mum says marbles because that's the only game she knows how to play.
Nice. Marbles on PC? Or
marbles on PC, yeah. She loves it.
IRL marbles.
She comes in every time I play marbles on this channel. My mum's the first person to press play. She loves it. She loves it.
Hell yeah.
Never wins a game, but loves it.
Fallout 3 was good.
G-Man says Fortnite. He's a big Fortnite fan. Dutchy says The Sims. What else we got here? Ned says The Sims sometimes as well. Cheney says Resident Evil 4. I've never played it, actually.
Pretty good game.
Red Dead Redemption 2 is on the list, of course. That's a great game.
God tier game.
Fantastic game. I mean, the first one was really good, and then they brought the second one. It was even better. I honestly I've never seen a sequel be better than the first game in that respect when it comes to, especially when it comes to games like that. Do you know what I mean? Like those big open world games. Like sometimes they do progressively get more intense and better. Like Fallout is a perfect example of that. Like, you know, Fallout 3, Fallout 4, it was a different game and had a lot of different concepts, but it was an improvement, I feel, from start to finish, you know what I mean? But that's just because Bethesda has too much money. That's so much production value, you know what I mean? Crash Bandicoot, because it was a game I played as a kid, says Hardcore Italian. I remember Crash Bandicoot. Yeah, in answer to your question, Mum, I used to play Crash Bandicoot with Tali at her house. This is my cousin, so we used to play Crash Bandicoot on the weekends because they're the only ones that had a PlayStation 1 because I didn't have one. And I was like, every time I go over there, I just sit in front of the TV and play Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah, right. So neither of you were like Nintendo kids growing up?
Oh, yeah, massively.
Played like Pokemon, but that's about it.
Yeah,
Like,
nice.
I had like what are they called again? Those Game Boy Advances, dude.
Oh,
Like those were lit.
yeah. Handheld gaming consoles just used to be cooler. The advanced SP, it was like a flip phone. It had it was one I feel like, at least for me, I think it was the first thing that had like a backlight in the screen. And that was like revolutionary. It's like I can play this in bed. I can hide under the covers. I don't have to sleep anymore.
I have a sad story about my Game Boy Advance SP. I don't know why, but one day I was like, we were just chilling on the train, my mom and I and my best friend, and for some reason, I don't know, my mom's a fucking hustler. She's like to this lady, do you want to buy this jacket? And I was wearing this jacket. I don't know. The woman complimented me on my jacket. I was like, it's like 10.
Were you cold? Because you were probably cold after she tried to sell the...
Honestly, maybe I was cold. I can't remember. I was 10 years
Traumatic.
old. And I just finished Pokemon Emerald. I was at the, not the Elite, at the end of the game. And I was so hyped to finish it. But for some reason, I forgot my Game Boy Advance was in that pocket, in that jacket. And when she sold that jacket, I lost my game. And she got a free Game Boy for $10. This woman has ruined my life. I still think about it. I still cry about it. Like, I wish I could finish that game. But I couldn't. And honestly, I don't know what the fuck was going through my mom's, brain when she said, you know what, I'm gonna sell a random jacket to this woman on the train.
If you had a Game Boy Advance SP, would you play Pokemon Emerald on it? I think I have an SP literally in that drawer over there. I'll mail it up to Sydney so you can play Pokemon.
I mean, I've played the game
because that shit's heartbreaking.
I've got something for you guys.
He's got something for us. I'm telling you, he's gonna come back naked, this motherfucker.
Oh, yeah.
This is gonna
I'm not complaining, dude.
And it's just gonna be helicoptering around. And yes.
You remember when you invited me over to your house?
Oh, very nice. Dude, fuck. I don't actually.
So beautiful.
Jungle Nintendo 64. It still works. Still turns on.
Ned Kelly.
I don't actually have it here. It's stored up at my mum and dad's, but I've got maybe not on par. It depends what you're into. But I've got the Pokemon. Ooh, damn, that's nice.
Yeah.
The original Game Boy Pocket Black.
Wow. Okay.
That's shiny.
Black and white.
That's
my
nice,
mom bought that for me for Christmas, I believe. Oh, Santa, I believe, got it for me for Christmas when I was
Santa.
I don't know what year that would have been. It would have been like 98, I think.
That's cute, man.
So, that's sick, dude.
I have the 64. They released the special edition of it. Well, actually, I think technically it's my brother's, but he's forgotten about it, so it's fucking mine now. 64 special edition Pokemon Stadium, so it's like yellow and blue, and it has like the Charizard and maybe has like the full evolutions of the starters up the side. Came with and I think to myself, I'm like, man, this must be. I don't think I'd ever sell it, but it must be worth a bit of money because I've got the blue and yellow controller, the blue and yellow 64 with all the Pokemon decals on it. Pokemon Stadium cartridge, the original box, all the instructions and that. And I'm just like, I think maybe I don't know if Dad had like a sense that that stuff was going to be worth a lot of money down the line or something. But I feel like he preserved all of that technology stuff really well.
Yeah.
Now it's cool to look back. I need to get a capture card so I can play. You've inspired me by busting that out. I'm like, I should get a capture card so I can play some of this old stuff.
The problem is that they take RGBs. So the original consoles didn't have HD cables, right?
Oh
so
yeah, right. Of course,
they have.
You can get
RGB
like
cables.
on Amazon, right? Like you can get like HDMI to RGBs.
Yeah, there's converters you can get and stuff. So you can do it, because I've got an Elgato capture card on my PC that I never use. It just came with the build, but like I don't use it because obviously I play all my games on my computer. So like I could technically do that, but I don't know how long it would last. Like I don't think I've turned it on in a long time. Like I'm worried if I turn it on, it just won't start. Like I don't even know. I probably have to find the power pack first too. Like I don't know where any of that stuff is.
I don't know. I think I'd run the N64 like semi recently. I think I probably turned mine on last maybe in like 2020 or 2021 to play. You ever play the Star Wars pod racing game on N64?
Yes, what a game!
Really fucking good.
That's on the road back, dude.
It's on Steam. I got it for
my
PC.
brother and I used to play
well.
that against each other competitively.
But
like,
I honestly think it's one of the best racing games, and it sounds fucking stupid. I've said this before, and people are like, what the fuck are you talking about? But it's like, in a normal racing game, like a car might go 100, 200 kilometers an hour.
mm-hmm.
But in that, you go 600 kilometers an hour. And when you're racing up against, all the pods go that fast, which is fine. The difference being obstacles approach you at 600 kilometers an hour. So it feels like... And it's like you fucking blow up all the time.
It's super intense.
Cool. Like
hey?
It feels like you're fucking pod racing. It's sick.
It's a great game. I between that game, I mean, I was a massive Banjo-Kazooie fan. I love that game.
Oh yeah, dude, that game used to give me nightmares. Like that.
Oh, dude,
witch.
yeah.
Oh, that witch was
Grunty,
scary, dude.
Grunty the witch. Oh yeah.
Take over my nightmares.
Just like that fucking thing has that noise in my head. It's like scratching my brain. Like it's like, bro. So there's so many good N64 games. Here's the thing: people will look back on those games and be like, "Look at the graphics. They're so shit."
I mean, I feel like they still hold up.
Yeah, we must be getting old because as you're talking about these, I'm like, classics, absolute classics.
I love them, but that's like, even like, as much as I hated Super Mario because I was so bad at it, it was so hard. Like,
Same.
you know what I mean? Like, it was one of those games. It was just like, it was a challenge though, a real challenge. You know what I mean? Like, even the original Pokemon, I've had a conversation with the boys about this. Is like, when we talk about Pokemon games, right? All of us have played most of the Pokemon games that have ever existed, right? From Blue Pokemon, Yellow, we played Crystal and Silver and Gold, and then we went all the way through to, all the new ones like the Omega Ruby and all this other crap, right? We get to the newest ones and we play them, and it's just like, they're so piss easy. Like, you can complete the whole game, and you're like, you can go to like, what used to be like the Johto League or whatever, right? At the end of the game, and you go and versus all the best trainers or master trainers or whatever. You can do that now in a game like that at like level 25. Do you know what I mean?
What?
Yeah, like when we played like, remember Pokemon Blue, right? You had to have a squad. You had to have a squad of Pokemon that were like gods in order to beat that, because you couldn't even heal in between. It was like you're going through these 5 fucking trainers who all have level 50 Pokemon. If you die, you're dead. You have to start again. Like, it was hard, man. It was a hard game. Like, I've played that game endless hours. I've never even come close to collecting all the Pokemon on it. Like, it's impossible.
You've gone back as an adult? Because I always sort of thought like, yeah. I think I never actually played Red or Blue. I think, because when they came out, I would have only been like, maybe like 5 or something. I actually started on Gold. I think Gold came out when I was about 7. And I played through like Gold to maybe like Black or something. But I always figured that like the older ones seemed harder just because I was little and I didn't know what I was doing. Like, I remember playing Gold. My party was entirely fire Pokemon because I was a little pyro. I just thought fire was cool, and I just had all the fire Pokemon, and I had to get them all to like level 80 to beat the
Charizard, Moltres, like all those.
I think I had like a Magmar, a Typhlosion, like just
so good.
I just figured they were hard because I was stupid. Like, and then if I went back now, I'd be able to. I'm still stupid. So you guys have seen me play games. Imagine me trying to play Pokemon and just fucking raging. Just like, oh, this is so
smashes the fucking Game Boy. It's over, guys. We're done. Like, no, it's so true though. It's so true. Like, I love it. But like, this is the thing. Like I said, I've played the new. One of the newest games I played, the Pokemon was Omega Sapphire, I think it was, or whatever it was called. And I played that and I literally finished it in a week. Yeah. Like, it was so easy. And like, I don't know, just, I found it was kind of like, it's still $75-$80. Like, you know, you're playing this game, like back then the games were really expensive. Obviously they were like $100 or something, right? Like they weren't cheap.
For the Pokemon games.
I don't think they were fucking cheap.
I think they were like
I thought
60.
they were like, they were more like 50, 60. I thought, but inflation and that, it probably works out to be about. So that is kind of, for what they are, that is actually still kind of expensive.
Yeah. But like, I mean, yes, there is other aspects to do other than main story and stuff. Like obviously there's heaps of like, you got to collect them all. That's the whole fucking point, right? But
it
had a lot of replay value. But I mean, like in terms of what it must have taken to produce as a studio, you'd think they probably turned a pretty good profit on it. I don't know.
Yeah, the Elite Four. That's right, Ghost. That was the one. Do you know what good game? Mortal Kombat kart racing game. Well, I've never heard of it.
No,
didn't
know they did that.
No. But yeah, no, I think games have gotten easier overall because of the kids give up too easy because of that. Instant
I mean, they could Google anything, right? Like back
it's
then,
a mentality
you had to buy
thing,
that book. Like, you remember those guidebooks you had to buy
Prima game guides.
Yeah. Buy those. Like, you were fucking poor. Good luck, buddy. You're not gonna figure it out because there was no Google back then. I mean, there was Google, but it was like hard to access.
The amount of people that say just Google it. Do you know what I mean? When it comes to something in like trying to remember, let's put it into context this way. I'll tell you a movie and you try to remember the actor, right? And then you go, I can't remember it. And you Google it, right?
Yeah, true.
But most people would have spent the entire day back in the day, like the entire day thinking about
Good old days.
Just being like thinking about it, and eventually the brain would be like, oh, it's that person. You'll remember it, right? But it would take a while to gather that. Now, people nowadays, they can't fucking stand that feeling of not knowing. So they just have to look it up. Like, it's just like, I mean, it's obviously the power of the internet is great when it's used in the correct ways. But at the same time, it's like, no one has to use their brain anymore. It's in your hand.
True.
It's crazy.
Exactly.
They used to say, I think it was either like fucking Socrates or Aristotle or some shit. They said the same thing about being able to read and write. He's like, no one's gonna have to remember anything anymore. We'll just write stuff down. It'll rot our brains, and it just fucking progressed from there. And now we're all fucking idiots.
Yeah, exactly.
It is true though. Like, if you look at my Google search history, it's nothing useful. It's just a list of like random stuff that I've sat there and been like,
Let's not bring the
answer
Google
to that.
History.
Okay, fuck.
Don't take that away, dude.
I was thinking I wanted to like make videos out of it, because I was looking through my Google search history and there'd be just like 5 random dumb facts that aren't related in any way, and I was like, but I feel like people want to know these things, and I could just compile this information and give it to people, and they'd be like, a shit sandwich, thank you for this.
Do you know?
Good for you.
Do you want to know the most fucked up thing about Google? Is that every single thing you've ever searched on Google is logged. Right? Yeah. And every single thing, like I'm talking like every single thing that you've ever Googled, Google has on file from the start of the internet. Okay. So like from the first time you ever logged onto a website to now, every single bit of your activity is logged with Google. And if Google doesn't have it, they've bought it. Okay. So if they don't have it, they've bought the data that goes with it. So like, if you went to Google, right, for a job, hypothetically speaking, you go to Google and you go, I want this job. They just have to look at your fucking search history, right? No one's getting a job.
Good luck, buddy.
Like, Do you know what I mean? Like, but that can use that, like, doesn't that, like, I know this is very, like, you know, conspiracy theory sort of stuff right here, because you're like, oh, you know, why does it matter? Who gives a shit what I search? Like, I'm no one, whatever. But one day you might be someone. Do you know what I mean? And you might be trying to do something important, and then like the world has that information at their fingertips, and they just go, I saw AchKaiy looked up this one time. It's like, well, he's not going to be on the NASA program. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
anyway.
do you know what I mean? Like, it's just, it seems to me, and this is the thing, right? The thing about Twitch, right? Everything is recorded, like this conversation, and like everything we ever do, even if we don't, like, even if we delete VODs, it's still there somewhere. Like, you know, you pull it up and.
I wonder if it is though, because wouldn't that take up like so much server space for them to store all of this shit? Do you think they really save it in some form?
They can afford
What, just so they can blackmail fucking
Who knows?
tiny 100 follower streamers like me? I'm like, where are you gonna fucking?
Well, they already take 50% of our income, so it doesn't really matter, does it?
It's true. They are scum. It's true. All right, I wouldn't put it past them. Fuck 'em. Fuck 'em, I say.
But you know what I mean? Like, it's just everything we do is recorded. Everything. Like, it doesn't matter. There's no privacy in the world anymore, and people don't seem to worry about it. Like, people don't seem to worry about the privacy issues anymore, because it just feels like privacy's dead. Like, it doesn't exist.
True.
So like, people are just like, well, everyone knows everything anyway, so fuck it. I'm just gonna run down naked in the street. Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
I'm exposed my plans for later, dude. Like, fuck.
That's crazy.
Kind of fucked up with the advertising thing as well. Like, I know this is a bad habit, but like that people are like, oh, they listen to your conversation so they can give you targeted advertising, and I'm like, cool. They're gonna give me ads for stuff that I want. I was like, sometimes I get ads and I'm like, this is useful. I want this object. Like,
it's a good way of looking at it.
Oh no, sometimes I enjoy, but even I enjoy like advertising. Like, people are always like, oh, skip the ads, but sometimes I'll watch an ad. Maybe I'm fucking dumb, and I'm like, wow, they put a lot of thought into like how to make that. Like, you ever see that? They ran it a few years ago, but it was an Australian ad, so you guys might have seen it. It was an ad for Pedigree dog food, and it was literally like a bunch of like rough street youths like going to beat up an old man, and then like a dog nearly gets hit by a car, and they all like stop to help the dog, and then it's like Pedigree brings out the best in pet or some shit like that, and I was like, what the fuck? Like,
a twist,
so weird. I'm just like, sometimes
even the worst of us can love dogs.
Man.
You know what I mean?
I don't know what the message was meant to be, but but then I thought to myself, I'm like, maybe that's the thing, because it's fucking 5-10 years later now, and I've just brought up Pedigree dog food because of that ad, and somebody's sat in the chat right now going, fuck, I need dog. Maybe I'll actually, Pedigree.
Or your phone's listening to you, right? And tomorrow when you go on Amazon, they'll be like, hey, did you want dog food? Like, I
don't even have a fucking dog. I guess it's for me. I guess it's for me then. Just a little.
Hey, has anyone? Okay, here's another brain deep dive for people in the chat as well, right? Have you ever sat and watched TV, right? And an ad comes on, and you watch the ad, and instead of watching the ad for what it is, which is trying to sell you a product, you think to yourself of the production value of the ad. Like, you'll instead of you'll watch the ad and you'll be like, I wonder how hard it was to like get that scene, or like move that car in that direction, or have that person be on that platform, or whatever it might be. And you're like trying to think of the ways they filmed it. So you're looking from behind the camera rather than in front of it. Do you know what I mean? Does anyone ever think that? Or even with movies in general, like you'll be watching a movie and you'll see something and you're like, I wonder how they filmed that, instead of actually thinking of it as something that's real, because it's not. Does anyone else think like that?
I still think of Katut to this day. So I don't know. I don't think I have a say in this.
It's just, I feel like it's just the way my brain works. I don't know, like, I find it weird. Like,
maybe a little bit like watching Avatar. Like the blue people Avatar, not Avatar: The Last Airbender, just because like people had talked about how difficult it was to actually produce, and it's still like, is it still first, or is it second highest grossing movie of all time now or something? I think first.
The second.
I think it might be one of those MCU ones now. Is it?
It was Endgame.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Endgame was the highest grossing movie. The second highest grossing movie was Avatar. The third is Titanic.
Really?
100 million at the box office first day.
Wow, that's so weird because Titanic must have come out, what, like late 90s or something?
25 years ago or something crazy
Yeah,
like
wow.
that. Yeah. But at the time, it was the premiere movie of the season, and I think Spider-Man was another one after that too. The first Spider-Man movie.
First Tobey Maguire one, the
Yeah. That
2002.
was a big
Yeah.
one too.
Yeah, fair.
That was a good film.
Yeah, that was a good film. I mean, even Tobey Maguire's a bit weird as an actor. I don't really understand him, but like,
love him.
I didn't hate it. You know, I've seen it multiple times for a reason. Like, it's not like how many people can say they've seen Spider-Man once. Like, it was overplayed on TV when we were kids. Like, it would just be on all the time.
I just sort of wonder as well, though, if there's like stuff like I will never see any of the new Spider-Man films as much as I've seen those Tobey Maguire ones, but it's probably just because they came out when I was like 8 and it was like Spider-Man. I'm gonna watch this every weekend for, you know,
Forever.
It's fucking fun. Like some of those things where it's just like I think of them as being like that sounds weird even saying it like, but like my fandoms or like things that like big things I'm a fan of, like Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, like those sorts of things, because those are the movies that were getting released when I was a kid, and now it's like I just don't have time to get as into something like that anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
Or maybe it's just nostalgia. I don't know.
No, I agree. Ned, thank you for the 95 biddies, by the way. I appreciate you, man. Welcome in Tater Poop. Greatest name on Twitch.
Nice.
Absolutely. No
Whatever
cap on that.
happened to 3D movies, by the way? You remember when 3D movies were like the end all of movies? Like I swear to God, there's no 3D
That's true,
movies.
actually. That's very true.
Like I remember watching Life of Pi 3D, and that was a god tier experience. Like we need more 3D movies.
Was that the one with the tiger on the boat?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
In 3D, that would have been weird. Last thing I saw in 3D was when they redid Mad Max.
Oh yeah.
Maybe that was actually really good because that was such a striking thing. But they changed 3D. Like I feel like when I was a kid, you saw 3D, there'd be like one or two things that really pop out. But then, like maybe I don't know, mid noughties or something like that, they made the 3D glasses so they were like one color and everything was just always a little bit off the screen, and it was very fucking weird. Made me feel ill.
Yeah, wow. No, I remember I saw Avatar.
2013.
I saw Avatar at
3D.
IMAX in 3D.
Fuck.
That was fucking
That is lit.
amazing.
Yeah.
The screen is like 115 fucking meters wide. It's just insane. But then like you're sitting like literally like right here and it's right there, and like it's 3D because like the crazy part about that, right, is when you were sitting there and like you know how they had like the garden, the forest scene with all the blue light and the flies and stuff when you're traveling through, and all of them came out right to your face. Like as you were traveling through the forest.
Did they do that?
Bro, it was so cool. Like it was the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. And like I couldn't hear for a day afterwards because it was so fucking loud, but it was so much fun to be a part of it. Like I was just like, and that's probably the last movie I saw in 3D, I'll be honest. Like and that was whenever that came out, fucking 20 years ago.
Is IMAX still out in this city, by the way, in Darling Harbour?
No, they tore it down. They tore it down like 3 years ago, and what's happening is, well, I think they said they were rebuilding it,
fair.
to be like a bigger sort of thing, like not the screen itself. I think it was just the capacities and stuff.
Like more cinemas.
Yeah. So I don't know like what's going on with it, but yeah, we'll see how they come out with that. But Indigo, welcome in. Good to see you, my friend. Indigo actually did something a little bit fucking crazy the other day. I came onto Discord the other day, and Indigo had boosted our Discord all the way to level 3. So I appreciate the love, Indigo. Literally just dropped in, gave 6 boosts off the fucking top of his head. Just said, it's time for level 3 for the Zilla patch. So I appreciate that, bro. And Ghosty says, Avatar is still at the top, but Endgame is second on the all-time grossing list.
Really?
So there you go.
Some people were saying in there that like some things were like re-releases, and I didn't even think about that or how that would factor in.
Yeah.
Cheating. Fucking cheating.
The 3D TV. Does anyone remember the 3D TV?
Oh, dude, those were like overpriced.
You have to have the glasses too. Like you couldn't watch TV without glasses.
feel like
Insane.
it'd be too much.
Maybe
sort
it's a
of think
rich
the same-
people thing, right? Like no one else actually bought one of those fucking things, did they?
I don't know. Have either of you ever done like the virtual reality goggles? Like even like an Oculus? Because I sort of think, you know how they're like, don't sit too close to a screen, like when you're a kid, because you'll need glasses. Like, can't imagine that having shit that close to your face is good for you.
I don't think it is. No, I mean even
Like
now
your
my
eyes can't
hurt.
focus on it, right?
Like,
Yeah, like
you know, and I've got like
Well, yeah.
30 centimeters at least. Like just
yeah. I'm meant to like every like 20 minutes or something, you're meant to like look away from the screen and try and like focus on something in the distance. That's what they tell us at work. Because like I've only been doing like a real computer-based job for a couple of years, and my eyesight's it's gone so hard.
yeah, that's
This is
weird.
terrible for us.
It's terrible. It's terrible. Of course it is.
And then what do we do in our spare time? Stare at good screen.
Stare.
Yeah.
Can't wait to stop staring at bad screen.
Yeah, 100%. We do have a question from the chat. Ned has a question for us, and I'll pitch it to you first, H. Does anyone have any creepy stories you have experienced in your life?
Creepy
Ooh.
stories.
Creepy,
like,
scary, you know, anything that kind of freaked you out a little bit, that got you a little bit thinking on edge, whatever it might have been. Anything at all?
I do.
No, not in terms of like, oh, you've got paranormal. I don't really have anything like that.
Yeah. I mean, it's not creepy. It was definitely a weird experience. This was me and Dutch. We were in class. Yeah, she knows exactly what we're talking about. Like, we were just chilling in class, you know, being dickheads. And for some reason, there was smoke coming out of my pocket. We were freaking the fuck out. Like, we were screaming, like, oh shit, you know? And, like, we saw smoke. And then, like, a minute after, like, I don't know what happened, but, like, nothing was wrong. Like, I thought maybe my phone was on fire, and we were just, like, panicking, because, you know, it's not fun to have smoke coming out of your pocket. And, like, we were freaked out, and out of nowhere, it just stopped. And we looked like the biggest fucking idiots, but we cannot explain what happened to my pocket there when, like, all that smoke was coming out. And, like, to this day, we're still so fucking confused in what, like, happened. We have no answers.
That's
it's
weird.
like,
That is
yeah.
weird. That's super creepy.
Like, it wasn't like, you know, like light smoke. It was like full on, like, thick, dark smoke coming out of my pocket. And, like, I thought it was just like me panicking. But Dutch saw it too. So, like,
Yeah,
we
that's
don't
what
know
fucking creeps
happened.
you out, hey, if someone else
Yeah.
notices something as well, and you're
And,
like, we definitely saw that, right?
Like, I thought it was my phone, but, like, I had my phone out and it was just like, it was fine. And to this day, like, we still talk about it. Like, you remember that one time there was smoke coming out of my pocket? Dude,
Wow.
yeah,
That's creepy and
that's
weird.
that's my paranormal story.
That is pretty weird.
Yeah,
I
it
feel
was
I feel
weird.
like a letdown now. I don't know, because I think I've never been able to lead myself to believe, like, you know, sometimes I think people hear the wind rustling or whatever and they go, oh fuck, maybe it's a ghost. But I'm too good at rationalizing out of it, because probably the oldest house I've ever lived in was only built in like probably like the 50s or 60s or something, and I'm just like, all these houses are too new to be haunted. That's what I tell myself. It's just like the wind goes and I'm like, this house was made in like the fucking 90s. It's not haunted.
Yeah.
Like,
Dude,
it's just-
my mum and dad's house, and mum still lives there now, was made in, like 120 years ago.
Damn.
that's old enough for a good haunting.
Yeah.
I'd
It's
be
very
concerned.
old. It's
I'd
made
get a
of-
pri-
there you
get a
go.
priest to look at it.
1890, mum said. That's where the house is
Wow.
Oh, yeah, nah, couldn't be me.
Get some sage burning up there in the corners. I'd definitely have a priest look at it as
It's
well.
made of sandstone. It's made of sandstone, the house.
Ooh.
It's yeah. It's got like the big doors with the big keys, and
I
like
imagine it's gorgeous. Is it like Victorian sort of style with
it's
like
like
the
it's like
metalwork on the arches and that?
farmhouse, yeah, like
Yeah.
farmhouse style with
Okay.
like has garden arches and you know yeah the big the old green veranda roof, like yeah it's a beautiful house, and It's one of those places like I grew up there. I love the house itself, and it's just like it was just a real like family house. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't like
nice.
you know how you go to most people's houses and just like you know,
Yeah.
the kids have this room and the parents have this room and you know this is the study and this is the rumpus room and this is like, our house wasn't like that. It was literally just really like quite cozy. It was just like here's the kitchen. The kitchen is right next to where we eat. And we all have bedrooms and that's it. Like, it's just like, it was a really simple house and it was really good looking house. Like, and it was just always falling apart. Like, like always, like there'd be cracks in the walls every now and again. We'd have to fix them. Like it's a cool house. Mum and Dad love it though. They've been there forever. Like they've been there since I was 7 years old. So it's a very long time. But, even we were just talking about like Sydney house prices. Even the house price of that house is fucking ridiculous now. Like, do you know what I mean? And it's like,
Yeah.
the house being that old and it's still worth fucking shitloads. It's crazy to me. Like, I don't know. I at the end of the day, I don't know how we all can live like when it comes to inflation. I like, it's gonna be tough in the future. Like,
Yeah. I've accepted the fact that I'm never gonna own a house. I'm
Yeah.
gonna forever rent. Like, I don't care at this point.
I reckon you
mean-
can. You just got to move. But even as I was before, I was like, oh, you just got to move more rural. Even where I live, which is like a couple of hours out of the city, even the house prices here, especially with COVID, because so many people left and they started moving down here, my areas started to become like gentrified. Like all the shops and that have started getting way nicer. They started building all this new shit. And like I'm not trying to be funny, but like when I was young, it was like probably like 99% white people. Like it was a real like country Australian town. It's becoming like very multicultural and shit. And the house prices just gone. And I'm just like, fuck, better get in soon.
yeah.
Like you're gonna have to go so far out to even be able to get a fucking shack that it's like, yeah, you really can't work.
Well,
Fuck.
here's a big question for you guys, and this might be something that could be relatable to a lot of people in the chat. How did everything that's happened in the last few years affect your lives? So like when it came to all the stuff we've had to go through, you know, obviously you know what I'm talking about, with all the pandemic and you know the job problems that everyone had, and you know obviously the lack of interpersonal relationships with other people because of lockdowns and all this kind of shit. I'll start with you, Meta. How did it affect you? Like, what did it do in your life, and what happened? Like, you know, give us a little bit of information.
Honestly, I feel like I thrive simply because I don't go anywhere in the first place. Like, I would say it kind of sucked because I did lose a job that I liked with Apple, simply because like there was just nothing for us to do. Sometimes we would sit there for like hours just doing nothing. But for the most part, like my social life pretty much revolves around like on the computer and like on Xbox and all that stuff. Like it did not affect me as much as like some people had to go through. I would say I was fine. I was thriving. Dude. Like it was a good time for me. Like I had an excuse to stay home, and that's like that's all I wanted, dude.
That's fair enough.
But yeah, like for me, it was fine.
What about you, H?
I was extraordinarily lucky in a lot of ways. Like I'd been out of uni for about a year when COVID got big, and I'd just gotten a job with what was then the Department of Health and Human Services. So like I used to work in child protection, and because it was considered an essential service, like the whole time during COVID, I've had a job, but it was hard probably like coming into a job, especially like a government job when there was so much mandated stuff. Like it changed the way we worked a lot. And it was sort of like, I won't go too much into it because it's probably like so a bit dark, but like doing the job that we did, it was sort of traumatizing, more like secondhand trauma in a lot of ways, because it changed the way that we dealt with families and the amount that we could actually do for them. Because I saw the reaction, the government's reaction to COVID as sort of an overreaction, and they stopped us from being able to go out to homes and help children, or perhaps help women who are experiencing family violence and that sort of thing. And as a result of that, I think a lot of people probably suffered. And like, we've gotten some of the stats back around family violence now that it's all over, and it was wasn't a good time for a lot of people. So you were sort of thinking about that it was all happening, and they had us going out in full hazmat suits removing children, and it was just fucked for them because we looked like aliens, and we're coming and taking this thing. The kids are screaming, "Oh my god, the fuck are these people?" Masks and glasses and gloves and smocks, and it was just like it was the end of the world for them. But I was very fortunate in terms that at least like I got to work, and like I was never too lonely because I lived with my partner as well. But I mean, like, it was sad, good in some ways and sad in others, I guess. What about you, man? For like because you do like mechanic stuff, isn't it?
Well, my business is a mobile, my business was a mobile mechanics structure. So basically, I would go to my customers' houses and service their cars at their house, which is, isolating as it is, because I work by myself. I live by myself. Like it was good that way, but it also had its like issues when it came to, I had a lot of run-ins with police over social distancing laws and stuff, because I wasn't, when it really crashed into Sydney, when they had the real big lockdowns and stuff, there was a real, I would say, confusion to the rules. Like no one really knew what the fuck was going on, because obviously no one's ever been in this position before, and we were all just kind of learning on the go. And the police were the same. Like I don't think the police knew what the fuck was going on either. So a lot of the times I had a lot of run-ins with police, and they were like, "You can't be doing this at this person's house because you're not part of the family," or whatever it is. I'm like, I'm providing a service. It's like, and then what they did was they started banning tradies like plumbers and builders from job sites. And as soon as they started doing that, the unions got involved. And I think it was within it took about a month and a bit. It's about 6 weeks for them to overturn that. And during that time, I had no work because I was like, I had gone to someone's house in the first week of that thinking it was a bit of a joke. Like I was like, there's no way that this is a real life situation. Because I had months of work booked. You know what I mean? So I'm like, well, I have to do it. Like, I'm not going to just not do it. I need to make money. Like my sole income is as a independent business owner is everything that I am doing, job related. And then they said I had to stay home, right? So luckily I had Twitch, because I was able to occupy my time a little bit, like, because obviously staying in my house, I live by myself, right? I've always lived by myself, and like I don't mind it. I like my own company, but when you're sitting in your house for months and months and months, right, and you have no job because the government says you can't work, and they're not even going to give you money to counteract this, I am literally just losing dollar after dollar after dollar, and I'd be lying if I said it wasn't part of the reason why I closed. It was a contributing factor. Like there was a lot of revenue that I lost. Like I lost nearly 3 months of income. Like what was I supposed to do? Like, the bills kept coming. There was no respite from that. Everything was going on credit. Like it was very difficult, right? It wasn't easy. Luckily, I don't have kids. So I was fortunate in that regard. I don't have a partner I have to worry about with anything like that. I don't have a mortgage. I don't have any debt. I was pretty good, right? But the bills piled up, and I've literally only just paid them off now. Do you know what I mean? Like, But I'm basically, the only way now that I'm able to make money back was either if I continued the business for the next 3 to 4 years and then recoup all of the money, and because the business it could bounce back. It takes a lot of work, because obviously I was only 4 years into a business I just started from scratch. So like it was if I worked another 3 or 4 years, I could probably get back to where I was. But do I want to? No, not really. I worked hard enough already, I don't think. And it was ruined, or it was stalled by a factor outside of my own control. And that to me is just defeat. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, at the end of the day, I'm like, look, I had a good run, and I was done with it. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I thought to myself, I've already been in this trade. half my life. I don't really want to keep doing it. It's not my passion anymore. Like, you know, I'm good at it, which is why I was able to do my own thing. But at the end of the day, it's like life's just short. You got to do something different, try something else. So I basically just, yeah. And then we had, like Mum said, we had months of rain, right?
Oh yeah.
And I work outside. So I just couldn't do my job. And it was just, it was fucked. It's very difficult either way. Like, you know, and at the end of the day, I just said to myself, I think it's time to just try something else. So
Yeah. Fair.
I don't even know what it is that I'm going to try next, but yeah, it was the other thing, I guess, in regards to that question, when it comes to that time, is the alcoholism. It was horrible. Like, I was literally drinking myself to death every day. So it was disgusting, and it was really hard to get through, but I'm still here, so that's all that matters.
Let's go.
But this is the reason I gave it up in the first place. Like, I had a moment where I was streaming in December, I believe it was, or around that time, and I got so incredibly drunk I couldn't even turn my stream off, and I couldn't even stand up, and I couldn't fucking even, like, I ended up on the floor in my bathroom just with my head in the toilet, and I was just like, I need to change my life. Like, it was crippling. Like, and I just basically said, okay, enough's enough, and I've just threw it in the bin. So like, but this is the thing again, like, you know, everybody was the same. Like, the rates of depression went up like exponentially. The substance abuse went up exponentially. Like, obesity went up exponentially. Like, health issues, whatever it is, like this whole thing, right? And this is why it frustrates me so much, is that at the end of the day, regardless of all the things that went on with the pandemic and the virus itself and that, more people died from other things.
Yeah.
More people's lives were ruined, and they died from things outside of that because of it. And I think that's the real tragedy of it all, to be honest. And the government didn't even care to realize that, because they're too focused on the messaging of whatever anyone else is saying. And it pisses me off. But it is what it is. Can't do anything about it now. It's done. Damage is done.
I know.
So.
Yeah, and I do wonder if, I don't know, if they had done things differently, maybe it would have gone a different way. Maybe it was an overreaction, maybe it wasn't. It seems like a lot of stuff's getting loosened now. Like, it used to be, oh, you need to be vaccinated to do fucking anything, and now they're letting a lot of that stuff off. Like, a lot of the kids and stuff that I work with, you know, they're starting to be able to attend school and other education institutions without vaccination. Government's changed their tune a bit. I don't know whether that's just because we got such a high percentage that they've done, what is it, the herd immunity now or whatever.
Yeah. But we'll never know, I don't think.
Yeah.
I think it's outside our pay grade to know.
What do you think of some of the conspiracy theories and stuff, though, that it was a bit of like an overreaction because there was like so many American politicians had like money in the companies that like make the vaccines and that it was all a big, like, you know, global shifting of money from us normal people to the upper elites. Do you believe in any of that stuff, you conspiracy people, or?
To an extent, I think. To a logical extent. Money always drives everything.
Oh yeah.
Remember that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Amen.
No matter what it is, whether it be making money or losing money, or governments or countries or economies or whatever it is, like, without money, the world would stop. It would stop. And every single person, like, you've never met someone that said, I want less money.
True.
You know what I mean? Like, I've never come across someone who says, I'm happy with $1, even though someone offered me $2. Like, this doesn't exist. Like, it's not greedy to say, it's just human nature. Human nature is just like, well, but if you had $2, life would be easier for you. And I was like, okay, well, I'll have $2 then. What if you had $3? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's
true.
Well, $3.
You're saying that you want to give me $3 right now?
And say you invested that $3 and you made $6. Do you know what I mean? But then what happens?
He's upping up the prices,
and then someone comes along and says, "How do I take your $6?" And they take $5.50 of that, and you're left with 50 cents. But you feel like, and you're like, I lost $5.50. No, actually, you lost 50 cents, right? But you don't think of it that way, because the other person just made $5.50. This is the world, though, right? Every single person is out to make more money. They don't give a fuck who gets in the way.
Yeah.
So when you say conspiracy theory, is it really a conspiracy theory to think that a giant company like the companies, we won't name them, but we know who we're talking about, the giant companies that make all these products are making millions and millions and millions of dollars off the suffering of others? Like, does that not seem like a logical thing? It's pretty normal.
That's the sort of case in America with the whole insulin debate, like the whole insulin stuff. Like, surely, I think, wasn't it originally like insulin was made to be cheap, but the American companies are like, oh yeah, you want to like pay like $1,000 for like a month's supply of insulin? Like, it shouldn't even be that much. Like, these companies just don't give a shit about us.
No,
Like,
it's not actually reflective of what the product that they're creating costs to produce. Isn't it called like price gouging or something like that?
Yeah,
which is like all the companies agree, oh, we're going to charge this much. So there's no competition trying to push each other's prices down, and people, it's not like they need the medicine to live or anything.
Yeah, exactly. What is the thought process that gets me about it is like, think about things that kill people on a daily basis that we just accept. Do you know what I mean? Like cancer, right? Mm-hmm. Every single day someone gets cancer and they die, right? Yeah. There's no cure to cancer, right? But this giant virus sweeps across the world, and all of a sudden we have like a vaccine for it within the span of 6 months.
Yeah.
Like, if we can mobilize that amount of power and money into something, shouldn't we be doing it against the things that kill us the most?
True.
Like cancer.
Surely they have a cure out there. Like, surely they do. They just...
And you'd think it would be in their best interest to create it. Because if you created the cure for cancer and you patent that, you would be the richest person on this fucking planet. Because everybody would buy it.
But if you think about it in the long run, they probably make more money, on people doing like chemo and all that. Like in the long run, like I don't know. Honestly, I don't know.
My brother had said to me once, and I don't know if this is actually the way they think of it or whether it's the same, because we were talking about alcohol before, how it's like it's legal, but it's probably not the best thing, and whether that's just a cultural thing because it's been part of our culture for so many thousands of years. That tobacco smoking, the reason the government won't make it illegal is because it's the perfect thing for them. You start smoking when you're young, they tax the shit out of it. Cigarettes are massively expensive, they make tons of money off it, and they make you die before you can collect your pension or put too much of a strain on the healthcare system.
It's true.
I was just like, no, fuck, that's pretty smart. Maybe it's just a cultural thing, but that's a fun theory too. Cute little thing.
You want to know a fun theory? Apparently, Guy Sebastian brought COVID to Australia.
Motherfucker. Should have known.
I knew there was something sus about that Australian Idol motherfucker.
Because apparently he was in Wuhan and he said he like ate some like really weird shit. Like right before COVID happened.
What was he doing in Wuhan? Like doing a show?
I don't know.
Taking a tour of the virology lab there.
I don't know what the fuck he's
doing a side gig for the Communist Party or something.
And apparently he ate bat as well.
And being paid handsomely.
Yeah, dude.
This is allegedly, right?
No.
Oh, the mic's gone. Oh, there you
go.
Yeah. Who thought Shannon Knoll should have won? That's all I'm saying.
Me. That song is legit, like, legendary.
Do you think Shannon Knoll didn't win because Guy Sebastian's better looking than him?
I mean,
Guy Sebastian is not better looking than Shannon Knoll.
Back then.
Shannon Knoll is extraordinarily handsome, and he's fucking yoked. Have you seen him lately?
No.
He's definitely, like, it's probably a little past now, but about 5 years ago, he definitely got on the gear. Like, he was looking a bit too fucking well for control, mate. He was looking good.
Yeah.
He was looking fucking big. But the thing is as well, fucking tell me this, all right? Shannon Knoll, what was his song? Tell me what his song was.
What About Me, wasn't it?
What About Me, exactly. What was Guy Sebastian's song?
That Angel song.
No fucking idea.
I know the song. I actually know the song because I used to...
I bet everyone in the chat right now could sing pretty much all of What About Me.
It's true.
100%.
I mean, Guy Sebastian's song was pretty lit. You guys ever play Australian Idol on the PlayStation 2? I used to sing that song all the time.
I didn't.
Yeah.
I do have the SingStar somewhere though, but I don't think we had the Australian Idol
Dude,
one.
SingStar was like lit.
It's pretty good.
We need those games back.
100%.
Imagine streaming that.
Dude, you know what the greatest game in the history of games is that no one ever talks about, and the kids today will never be able to experience? Guitar Hero.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Dude,
One
I
of the greatest
so
party tricks you could ever do if your mates came over was pull out a Guitar Hero guitar and turn the TV on. Like, it was one of the coolest things in the history of the world. I honestly, I love it, man. It's so cool. So my mate and I, Ben, he was my next door neighbor. Yeah, my mum just said, look, you and Ben. Yeah, exactly. My next door neighbor, Ben, we were mates since we were 7 years old, the same age, right? We went to high school and primary school and everything together, because we literally lived next door to each other. And his parents still live next door to my parents. And basically, we went out of our way in our 20s to go and find a Guitar Hero guitar and a console to play it again. So like we went to every cash converters in Sydney, right, to find 2 guitars that we could get. We found Guitar Hero 3, and we found a Guitar Hero Metallica, and we found all these Guitar Hero games. Got out the old PlayStation 2 or whatever it was, and we went and we sat and we just played it for hours, man. And you know what? You've never experienced Guitar Hero until you're in your 20s and you can drink at the same time. It was just like, it was so much fun, dude. Like,
well, you saying that just then, man, and talking about before my dad being good at maintaining the texture. I'm pretty sure not only the guitar but possibly one of the drum sets.
Oh yeah,
is sitting in
garage
the
band
garage
guitar.
Mum and dad's. Dude,
Yeah.
and like Guitar Hero, like I agree with you, Guitar Hero is really good, but I honestly think out of all the things you could play on it, the drums is probably my favorite thing, just because you could really smack the shit out of it.
Yeah,
man. It was pretty
you definitely
good.
could.
All rubberized and that, and you really felt like a rock star.
That's it. Like, if the footy got boring, you just whack out Guitar Hero and just start playing that instead.
yeah.
You're like, this game's chalked. Let's play some games. You know what I mean? Like, it's just something that anyone can get behind. Like, even if you're not a gamer, you're like excited to give it a go. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I reckon I'm gonna go and pick that up later, because I don't know if my fiance ever would have done it. And I've been trying to get her into gaming a little bit more. She's not she's pretty uncoordinated. It's quite funny to watch her play.
Sims, dude. Sims is the
she'd like
perfect
that.
game.
She would like that.
Yeah.
She likes the game she likes. Do you know like Pajama Sam or Freddy Fish or Putt Putt or any of these like,
No,
they're like
old
these
school,
they're like real
education
old like
games.
kids like point and click adventures. Spy Fox, like she must have played them when she was real young. That's like all the stuff that she likes, and she just plays those, and they're games for like real young kids, probably like 5 or 6 or something. But
I'm about to blow your
nostalgia.
mind. I'm gonna just say one game title, and I just want to see your reaction. Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego?
Oh yeah, dude. Oh,
Means
that's a
nothing to me.
throwback.
It was
I
it was
remember.
exactly what you're talking about. It was exactly a game what you're
Yeah.
talking about. It was a click. It was like travel the world, find the mysteries. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
right.
uncover it's like a detective thing, right?
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. 100% like that. All right, I'll throw another one at you. Duke Nukem 3D.
All right, yeah, Duke Nukem.
I
played
wasn't
a little bit
allowed
of.
to play violent video games as a kid.
Duke Nukem. I remember probably because I think when you've actually unlocked some deep memories there. Because I think if you ask me, like what was the first games you played, I probably would have been like, maybe like a gold version on Pokemon, or like maybe something on the SNES, like maybe like Super Mario or something. But then I do remember Windows 96.
Oh yeah.
Maybe even Dad getting on fucking like Earthworm Jim or something like that. You ever play Earthworm Jim, man?
The letters and shit.
game,
I'd
dude.
love to get that back now, man. I'm gonna look on Steam after this to see if Earthworm Jim's on
I
there.
reckon
I
it's on
definitely
there.
wouldn't have finished it as a kid. I would have gotten to like the 3rd level and it would have been way too hard. And now I could go back and conquer Earthworm Jim.
Dude,
That'd be sick.
my parents, remember back in the noughties, like early noughties, late 90s sort of thing, when your parents used to always have dinner parties, right? They would always have dinner parties. I don't know what it was with, parents in their 40s having dinner parties, but it was just something that they always did, right? And so the kids would just chill out and do whatever, and the parents would have dinner parties, and, there'd be Viennetta and there'd be schnitzel and whatever it was, right? Tupperware parties, exactly, like all that kind of shit, right? That you had to sit through as a kid. You're like, I don't understand what's going on. And at the end of it all, right, my dad, for the after dinner entertainment, would steer everyone over to the computer, right? Here's where he would have his Windows 97 computer, and they would play fucking like the weirdest fucking games. But one of them, Windows had this pinball game, right?
The space pinball one?
Space pinball.
Yeah.
Right?
Is that old? I thought that
Dude,
we used
it's
to play
so
that on the
fucking
computers
old.
at school.
Yeah, space pinball. They used to play space pinball after dinner. Look, Mum's just literally just like
Parents
pinball.
are cool, dude.
And I'd just be sitting there and be like, can we have a go? And he's just like, and the two dads or whatever would just be like, no, fuck off. Like
So
like,
good.
Like, just like, and I just
That's
used to
gonna be
remember,
me as an
I
adult.
remember that as a
playing on
kid,
my-
like
playing on my fucking Oculus in like
Yeah.
and the kid is a bit like, can I have a go? And I'll be like, just
get out of my way.
get out of here.
I just stamp on them, just like
Yeah.
no. But that's the thing.
you
Like,
ever
stuff
remember
like
the
that.
iToy? Remember the
The
iToy?
iToy.
guys?
They had that on
Yeah.
what did they have? What was that on? It was just
On
on the
PlayStation 2. Like,
That's right, that's
ooh,
right.
Was that one
the
of like
best.
the movement sensor things?
Yeah,
Or-
yeah,
for, like-
yeah.
They use that for like Just Dance games and stuff. Like
I
these
think-
days.
Yeah. Dude, the iToy was so good. Like, it was so ahead of its time. There was like this mini game where like there was like this like window washing one, and there was like one on me because I was jumping around.
Were you losing meta? a
Yeah,
little
I
bit
lost it
there?
there too.
Yeah.
Ah!
Yeah,
It's
I can't,
gone
we can't
again,
hear you.
dude.
We can't hear you.
You smacked it. Now it's misbehaving.
Yeah. Censored.
Right.
Yeah, she's been censored by the Chinese government.
They will do that. I
Fuck.
heard her start talking about Winnie the Pooh, and then it just
Yeah, and then just went down.
Ah,
Yeah.
it'll be another 10 seconds. Someone will come in and put a black bag over her head. And drag her away. That'll be it.
I lived a
That'll
good
be the
life,
fucking
dude.
end
What
of
can
it.
I say? I lived a good life.
Yeah.
Literally at the beginning of this stream, I suffer. That's what I do. I live a good life.
I love that. What about? Oh yeah, do you remember the logical journey of the Zombinis? Do you guys
No, I
remember
never
that
heard
song?
one.
Dude, that game was it was like a problem solving game,
Mm.
and you had these little men, or these little men that you could like had different colored eyes, different shoes, and different hair, and all this kind of stuff, and you'd have to have them travel from one place to another, and there was puzzles each time, and not all of them could travel because they were different, right? So you'd have to. Some of them could go one way and some of them could go the other way, and then you would have to work out they go halfway this way and halfway that way because they were all their attributes were taken into consideration through the paths you took. It's very cool, but you could never get them all there. If you got them all there, it was like fucking amazing. So like, do you know what I mean? So they would start at one place, they travel across this land full of stuff, and then they'd get to the other side. Dude, that game was hard. Like it was difficult.
It's like one of those like puzzle things where it's like that riddle where it's like you got a boat and it can only carry like two things at a time or something, and you've got like a dog, a goat, and a man, and it's like you can't put the dog and the goat together because the
Kinda
dog will eat the
similar,
goat. Is it
yeah.
like one of those sorts of things
Yeah,
where it's like
yeah,
you
yeah.
kind of match them all? Yeah,
It was cool.
yeah, those riddles.
It was very cool.
That does
But,
sound cool. That probably helped you playing stuff like that when you're little. Like people demonize games a lot, but I feel like playing
Gets you
like
thinking.
playing stuff with puzzle solving. I imagine is actually really good for children's development.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Well, you know what though? Some people were like, and this might sound a bit random, but even games like shooting games and stuff, they still promote thinking. Like they still promote.
Yeah.
They still
3D
promote
environments.
Yeah, 3D environments, movement,
Like reaction
positioning,
time.
like just the thought process of getting ahead of a team, like to expect the way they move or whatever when it comes to like zone play and stuff is massive for your cognitive abilities and your thought processes on things and all that kind of stuff. So like most people just see guns, violence. That's all they see. Like guns, violence. It's just, but it's actually more strategy than anything else. Like the gun is just what you use to win the game, but the strategy involved is what gets you to there. Do you know what I mean? So like there's actually there's puzzles and everything, and it does help. It does help with thinking about things, like, you know, like even games like The Witcher, like, you know, you have to use a certain potion for a certain animal, or you have to move a certain way, and then like the predictability of things is different for each character, and you know, like it's all relative to each other. You know, there's no real games that are just like smash games. You know what I mean? Like there's no games that are just like completely no strategy. I mean, Serious Sam is probably one of them. I think it's just like completely pointless. But I still play it. But like,
yeah, I guess even like literally anything like fighting games, anything like that, like it's all strategy and prediction and
repetition,
reaction.
100%.
Yeah, memory games and shit. Having to remember those long ass combos.
Yeah,
those fighting games. Are either of you big on fighting games at all? Like Mortal Kombat, anything like that?
Buttons and hoped for the best. I'm one of those bastards.
My brother's a big fan of Mortal Kombat series. He's always played them.
I don't mind them. Like, I had one mate that I'd always, like, that's quite a fun, like, childhood memory. I had this one mate we'd always play those fighting games with, and he always whooped the shit out of me. Because it'd always be like he'd own them, and, like, I'd go around and play, and he'd just fuck me up every time. But, like, I reckon Soul Calibur. Soul Calibur was probably a favorite. I like the ones where you had weapons. Yeah. He'd always go the guy with the nunchucks, and he'd just whoop the shit out of me.
That's probably why. That's probably why I'm so happy they brought out a game like Elden Ring. Because it's
on Centrelink _ says I loved Motor Combat Armageddon. It was like Mario Kart.
Okay, Ned, random. But yeah, when I mean like with Elden Ring is like they finally brought out a game that's actually difficult. You know what I mean? Like I've seen people play it. It looks so frustrating.
Have you played any of the older FromSoft games, man?
I played the original Dark Souls game.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was hard.
Yeah, it was hard. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, but it's good to
like 1 hour and I gave up.
Well, this is the thing. Like, this is a lot of people will. You know what I mean? A lot of people will go ahead and start playing it and be like, "Oh fuck, this is too hard. I'll go play something that I can get instant gratification out of." Like, do you know what I mean? Whereas like some people enjoy the grind too. Like, But I'm more of like a quest related sort of person. Like I was a massive Warcraft player, so I'm just like you give me like 7 quests and I just go and complete the quests mindlessly. I'm happy to do that. You know, I'm not sort of like the person that's like, here's a puzzle, we're not going to tell you what the puzzle is or how you solve it, just figure it out. I'm like, that's not when you want to do that. I'd rather you say there's 7,000 things you have to collect, go and collect them all, and I'll be like, okay, bye. Like, you know, happy to.
I've found coming into Elden Ring after having played like the Dark Souls games sort of hard, because like Dark Souls it was like the first time you played it was fucking hard. You didn't know where you were going, but there was like pretty limited paths really, where like Elden Ring, I've gotten a like fair bit of way through it. I think I've probably been like the first few major bosses or something, but I'm just so fucking lost. There's so many places to go.
Yeah.
But it's kind of cool as well, because you do actually get that sense of, I'm starting to appreciate that more as I get older, and that's why I think I like that Ancestors game as well, that it's just very, very open and you do have to sort of work it out, and it'll be fun for people to watch as well. I think watch me try and work my chimp brain and them just be like, idiot, disgusting.
One with the chimp.
It's obvious. Yeah.
I actually wanted to play that game too. It actually looks fun.
Dude. Well, I don't want to fucking shill too much, but Epic Games has got like quite a few good sales on at the moment. But then like on top of that, they're doing a thing where you get an extra 25% off everything you buy. So it's like that Ancestors game was like $20, and then it was another 25% off that. So I was like, fuck yeah, I'm getting that. Monkeys.
Yeah.
Monkeys.
Dude, I'm kind of excited to watch you play it. Actually, I want to check it out.
I'm down for that.
When's let's what we'll do is we'll wrap it up, all right? Because we've been talking for 2 hours. So
really?
Oh damn!
Well, this is the thing about podcasts, right? They either go forever or they go in 5 minutes, and you know it's a good one when you don't realize you've been talking for as long as you have. And the other reason I know is because I got the clock in front of me. So you know what I mean. So look, let's wrap it up. And let's end it with yes. All right, bye. No, let's end it with a little bit of a selfless promotion, okay? So both of you are going to tell us what's going to be happening on your channels in the next like month or so. Give us an update on if you got anything special planned, and if there's any socials you want to plug, let me know, or just shout them out to everyone, and we can post them in the Discord as well, and you guys can all join up, because I want to make sure my community goes and gives you the support and goes and watches you guys and hangs out with you guys, because obviously from watching the podcast, and for those who will watch it on YouTube later, a lot of people, you will probably see a lot of people come across and say hello. So
yay!
Yeah. So Meta, you go first. Give us your plug, and let us know what you're up to.
I'm so nervous, dude. Well, I'm not anything interesting. I just play Halo a lot. I might eventually lose my mind and play something else. But for the most part, I'm just like a full-time Halo streamer. I don't really have socials to plug because I don't really use them. Like I'm pretty like bare bones streamer. I just stream, I have a good time, and hope you guys enjoy it in like the whole process of, I don't know. But yeah. Fun.
All right, well, that's a good one. So if you want to see some sweaty Halo gameplay and go see a lot of space dicks, then go and check out Meta. H.
Honestly, I think Meta's bad at bigging herself up as well. She actually, she is something interesting, and she is actually she is actually, well, not only is she is quite good at Halo, like she plays at like a relatively high level, but she is genuinely one of the most entertaining Halo streamers on Twitch. That's my opinion.
Aww.
But like she doesn't give herself enough credit. Like there's a reason that there are people watching.
H.
Yeah, that's clip it. That'll be perfect. That'll be out of this 4 hours. That'll be the one.
That'll be the one. Yeah.
So for me, what I'm playing at the moment, I am doing Witcher. I'm about to start, like I said, Ancestors and Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I just finished downloading that tonight, actually. So that's what I'll be playing on the channel. In terms of other socials, the reason I started all this stuff in the first place was to do more YouTube stuff. And I'm going to start doing more stuff on my YouTube, more like long-term YouTube videos. Like my background and my education is actually in psychology. Like one of the next video I'm probably planning to put out on YouTube is actually a video talking about dealing with depression. So a bit of a weird one, but yeah,
that's all right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure it'll be educational though. I'm sure it'll be interesting. So yeah. Guys, please make sure you go give both of them a follow on Twitch, and I'm sure you'll be able to catch a lot of their socials from there as well if you wanted to go and give them a follow on other platforms and check out their stuff. Dudes, thank you so much. It's been a fucking pleasure.
Thank you. That was fun.
Yeah, it was cool, man. Thanks for having us on.
Definitely. That's it. All right. See you guys. Much love.
Bye.